Hi, and welcome
Blog
to
Talk
219
Radio.
GreenConnect Blog Talk. Hi, and welcome to 219 GreenConnect's Blog Talk Radio. I'm guest host Emily Russell, a wellness consultant and Shaklee Distributor for Russell Health and Wellness. And today we're talking with Diane Nelson, the owner of Au Naturel Market in Valparaiso. Hi, Diane. Thanks for talking with us today.
Hello.
So for listeners who don't know of Au Naturel, can you tell us a little bit about the different types of products that you have at your store?
Sure. Au Naturel is the area's only full-service natural market. And by that I mean we have organic fresh produce every week. We have beef and poultry, eggs, and dairy products. But we also have the largest selection of supplements, minerals, and vitamins in the area, and we carry lotions and makeup by Ecabella. We carry shampoos and conditioners. So really it's a one-stop shop. We've got rice and potatoes and everything that you would need. You could actually come here and get your entire Thanksgiving dinner and pick up some gifty items as well. So that's what we aimed to do when we opened our store was make it a one-stop shop for people who are trying to live a healthier lifestyle.
And that's so wonderful. I know when I went in, I didn't realize what a variety of things that you have there. It's kind of like a mini Whole Foods in Northwest Indiana.
That's what I was going for. We don't have the square footage that a Whole Foods would have, but we really have a great selection of products for people. And that's the first thing that a person will say when they walk in our door is, oh, my gosh, I didn't realize you had so many things, because they just are expecting, your normal health food store.
Yeah. And how many years have you been open?
We opened 8 years ago in August, so we celebrated our 8th anniversary this past August. And it was just a little dream of mine I was a sales rep in this industry, and I was kind of getting tired of driving 1,000 miles in a week and living out of a suitcase. And I realized that there was no really nice health food store in Valparaiso or Portage or Chesterton, and I started dreaming about possibly pulling that together. And everything sort of fell into place, and I found a good manager right off the bat that came with me, and the two of us have pulled it together and made it happen.
Well, I think it's so wonderful. It's definitely a real need in this area to have products like that available that are close, and it's so great to have your store in Valparaiso. Now, one of the things you mentioned that you have, one of the lines you carry is a natural makeup and skincare line. And do you have an event coming up around that in December?
Right. On December 8th, we're going to do an open house, and we've called it Kiss Me Under the Mistletoe. And Kristen Munson, who is our Ecabella representative, is going to be here, and she's going to give anybody who wants a lip makeover show the right lipstick for them and how the Ecabella products work so much better than, your drugstore brands because they are all natural ingredients. And then she'll be there to answer any other questions about the entire makeup line from skincare, cleanser, all the way to shadows and powders. And while you're here, we're going to have cookies and eggnog and a nice sale going on. So we're hoping that a lot of people will join us there on December 8th.
And what time is it on December 8th? Or is it all day?
I think 11 to 3 is when Kristen will be on hand. The sale will be all day long, but between 11 and 3 is when she's going to be doing the lip makeover and talking about the makeup.
Okay. And that's wonderful. A lot of people don't realize the importance of natural makeup and skincare, but your skin is the one organ you absorb everything you put on it directly, and there's not a filtering system like your lungs have or for the air you breathe or your digestive system for the food you eat. So it's real important to have natural skincare available.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and a lot of people don't think about that. They think they're eating healthy, but then they put things on their skin that have parabens and carcinogens, and there is no regulation really to speak of by the government of what goes into all of those products. So you're better off buying something in a natural food store so that you know that we've read the ingredients and we wouldn't carry it if it was bad for you.
And that's great to have a store like that you can trust, that we know you're carrying safe ingredients for everybody. As a lot of people, like you said, Diane, just don't realize that skincare can contain real dangerous things for us. We kind of assume that it must be good for us if it's on the market, and that's just not the case a lot of the time. Now, we wanted to talk today about how to build immunity over the winter, because as cold and flu season right now is in full swing and everybody seems to be getting sick, I'm sure that you must have a lot of ideas for natural ways to prevent colds and also to help treat them once you do get sick. Would you like to share some of those with us? Sure.
As soon as the kids went back to school, our natural products for cold and flu sales boosted because the children immediately started getting sick. It was just totally bizarre. It was still August and the kids were getting sick. But when I have just a touch of a sore throat or I feel a little nasally, the first thing I grab is my Sovereign Silver. It's a colloidal silver product. You've heard of the man who turned blue from using too much colloidal silver. Well, he makes his own, and it's totally different from the colloidal silver that you would buy in a store. Sovereign Silver comes in a lot of different ways. It comes in a dropper bottle. It has a spray for your throat or a spray for your nose and sinuses, and they just came out with a gel for burns and scrapes and bruises. So what I do is if I start feeling a little sore throat, I grab the spray and I spray my throat before I go to bed. If I get up during the night, I'll spray again, spray in the morning, and just do that, 6-8 times a day. And within a couple of days, I'm feeling better again. It never really reaches in and grabs me. The same goes with my husband. If he starts getting sick, I put the big dropper bottle on the kitchen table, and I tell him every time he drinks water or juice or whatever to put a dropper full into his liquid, and he'll drink it down, and that seems to keep him from getting the deep chest colds that he is apt to get otherwise. So there's a very cute story of one of my customers who has 5 children, all under the age of 10.
Wow.
And she buys the spray, and she lines up her children in the morning before school, and one at a time she sprays 3 sprays into each of their mouths every morning before they go to school. And that's all she does. And she swears that they do not get the cold, flu, runny noses, and coughs that all of their peers at school get. She really attributes it to the silver. So I have a lot of faith in that one product. So now it's safe then to use every day, and it still maintains its effectiveness if you use it every day? Yes. I wouldn't use it, in the summer when you're not sick. There's no reason to use it. But when it's cold and flu season and you're being exposed to germs all day long, especially the kids at school, that's when she uses it for her children. And so does it work as an immune booster, basically? Yeah, it's an immune booster. Its immune support is right on the outside of the bottle. So that's wonderful. That's a new one that I haven't heard of. You haven't heard of Sovereign Silver? No. Yeah, come on in and I'll show it to you. Talk to you. It really works well. Now, what other items do you have that also help? Well, another product that we sell a lot of at this time of the year is Seagate Olive Leaf. Now, olive leaf also has antibacterial, antimicrobial properties. The olive leaf throat spray is a raspberry and spearmint flavored, and it comes in a really nice bottle that you just open your mouth and put down and spray it into your mouth. That helps a lot to help a sore throat heal quicker, and again, it's antimicrobial, antibacterial. Now, do you take that then after you're feeling sick, or can you also do it as sort of preventatively, like the colloidal silver? That I wouldn't use until I had some symptoms, right? Okay. And people need to kind of listen to their bodies. A lot of times you kind of feel a sore throat coming on and you ignore it, and then a couple of days later you get really sick. Well, that's happened to me, and now I know that little feeling that you get, or you're really tired and you don't know why. Maybe something is happening, and maybe you should be proactive and do something right now so that it doesn't get a hold of you as badly as it would otherwise.
That's it. I'm that same way. I feel that in the back of my throat, and that's how I know I'm starting to get something. For those of you just joining us today, we're talking to Diane Nelson of Au Natural Market in Valparaiso, and we're discussing different ways to stay healthy during the winter and things that help your immune system and help you stay healthy. What other ideas do you have for us, Diane?
Well, another product that we sell a lot of, a product line at this time of the year, is it's called North American Urban Spice Oregano. And again, oregano works as a natural antibiotic, an antimicrobial. It's terrific for upper respiratory issues. There is a product specifically called Orega-Resp. So if you've got upper respiratory breathing problems, chest cold, you start taking these capsules, and you can take 3 a day. It's got oregano, cumin, sage, and cinnamon all blended together in this capsule, and it works just as well, if not better, than going to the doctor and getting an antibiotic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a really great product, and they probably have 20 different products in their line, but their original is the oil of oregano super strength P73, and it comes in a glass bottle with a dropper. You can take this dropper and put it into juice and drink it, and even for small children, it's safe to put on their feet. You know, a small child's probably not going to like the taste because it's kind of a peppery taste. It's surprisingly so. But if a child has a fever or flu symptoms, you just put some on the soles of their feet and massage it in, and put a pair of socks on and let them go to sleep. It will absorb. Obviously, we just talked about how bad things can absorb into your system. Well, good things also can absorb into your system through your skin. So by putting it on the soles of their feet, it will absorb into their system and start to work.
That's a wonderful idea for kids.
Yes. A lady that worked for me a few years ago had a little boy who was bit by a black recluse spider, I think it's called. Oh,
yeah, brown recluse, yes.
That's it, a brown recluse spider. And he had been bitten on the ankle, and his foot was swelling, and it was turning black. And she used oil of oregano, and she put it on the soles of his feet like 3 times a day, and it healed. It healed it.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, those are very poisonous bites. That's fantastic.
Right. So that was the story she told to a lot of customers when they came in to explain. That was her go-to product. You know, we all have our favorites, and she loved the oregano, and that's how she got a lot of people informed about how that works and the great benefits that the oil of oregano has.
These are all great things to know. I think a lot of people, like you said, are just used to going to the doctor and getting a prescription for an antibiotic or taking a cold pill over the counter, and we don't realize how many wonderful things nature has given us that really work just as well, if not better, without the side effects of things that you can get from traditional medicines.
Right, exactly. And, you know, when you do the antibiotics, after the antibiotic, you get the yeast infection or yeast overgrowth or a stomach problem, and it's just, if you can do it naturally, you should definitely do it naturally. I'm not a fan of antibiotics for children. And also the other issue is if you take them and get them antibiotics every time they have a cold, when they have something very serious go on and they need that antibiotic, it's not going to work as well because their immune system or their body is used to having that in there all the time. So.
That's right. I know that the Center for Disease Control finally has sort of warned against the overuse of antibiotics, which I think is a good thing. But this is a great subject to talk about. So say someone has gone to the doctor and taken an antibiotic recently or for their child. What can they get at your store that would help counteract those effects of the yeast overgrowth or the bad digestion after an antibiotic?
I'm a big fan of acidophilus. And we carry a couple of really good brands. Renew Life is one, and Garden of Life is another, where you can get a really good, potent acidophilus that's going to put the good bacteria back into your gut.
Now, is that a type of probiotic that we hear about when there's all this talk of probiotics now?
Yes, that is a probiotic. And we do carry several children's brands as well that come in a powder form that you can just mix into their juice or cereal or whatever, so that they can you can put some. There's an infant one that you can put into their formula or into their water. If like an infant is suffering with constipation, acidophilus is a good thing to add. So I can't even tell you how many women come in after antibiotics with a yeast infection, and right away I say, this is what you need. Take, a good strong 50 billion per capsule probiotic, and, take the whole bottle. And then after that, if you want to go back down and use a less strong one, like 10 billion or 12 billion per day, that's always good to do on a daily basis. So I don't necessarily think you need a 50 billion every single day, but the 50 billion is good to attack what's going on in your system and help you to get better.
Now, I've read that 70 to 80% of your immune system is actually in your gut. So would a probiotic be something good to take also just for, like we're talking about, building your immune system and preventing colds?
Yes, a lot of people do that because you're absolutely right. Everything starts in your gut. It's hard to believe, but if you have a strong digestive system, most of the rest of your body is going to be doing well too. So, yes, I think it's good to do on a daily basis.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right, and then so what are some other products? We've talked so far about colloidal silver, olive leaf, and oregano being three great things for your immune system in the wintertime. Are there any other ideas that you've come across?
Well, say that you've just got a cough going on. Nature's Way, Sambucus, makes a black elderberry syrup that is terrific for either adults or children. It has a great taste. It has no artificial preservatives. It works really well for the cough. It has no artificial colors, dyes, or sugars. And when you buy something off of the shelf in the grocery store or in the drugstore, you're going to get all kinds of aspartame, red dye, God knows what else as far as preservatives. So I really highly recommend that you look for something that's on the natural side. This is take 2 teaspoons, children take 1 teaspoon, and you can give it like every 4 to 6 hours. Works well, and again, has none of that junk in it that you're going to find in your traditional stores.
And that's wonderful, as I know a lot of children now, their parents are sort of figuring out they have real strong reactions to those artificial food colorings and dyes that are in things that you wouldn't think of, like cough syrup. I think we think of it in candy, but it shows up in their medicine. So that's very nice to have an option that doesn't have those artificial things.
Sometimes I do a talk about, why you should take health food or health store products, and I bring a bottle of Flintstone vitamins with me, and I start reading the ingredients on the Flintstone vitamins to the people in the audience, and they can't even believe how long that list is. And when I have to admit that when my children were little, I didn't know any better, and I bought them Flintstone vitamins. And
yeah, I think that's what I took too.
I wasn't doing them any good at all. That was terrible.
Now, for those of you just joining us, we're talking today with Diane Nelson of Au Naturel Market in Valparaiso, and we're discussing all sorts of good natural things to help prevent colds and treat them naturally. Now, Diane, other things I've heard of, and I'm not sure what you think of these, are things like echinacea or garlic. Do you think those are good for colds? Or?
Well, echinacea was the next thing I was going to talk about, and I have a couple of different good echinaceas. I think that echinacea is always good to use during this time of the year. It's been used for many, many years. It's totally safe. You wouldn't want to use it year-round because it's like an antibiotic. You can get used to it. So you would only do it during cold and flu season or at the onset of a cold. It comes in capsules or a liquid. The one I'm holding, the serving size is 2 capsules. And then the Zand Ensure Immune Support is a 2-ounce bottle of liquid with a dropper. And you can add that dropper to some water, or you can put it under your tongue for the best results. And hold it under your tongue until it sort of all gets absorbed, and then swallow. You can do that 3 or 4 times a day. And that will help you prevent those cold and flu germs from taking hold in your body. Again, you know, that is probably one of the first products in the natural industry for cold and flu that it's just been around since forever.
Okay, and that's important. You take it at the onset and during the cold, but it's not something you would take daily, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Wonderful.
And I was going to say...
Go ahead with other ideas, yeah.
Oh, one other thing is vitamin C, which, you know, you don't think about that, but vitamin C is also it's a great addition to your daily multiple vitamin. I take a vitamin C, and my husband takes vitamin C every single day, and we like something different. I like the orange juice 500 milligram lozenge, and it's kind of like my dessert after my vitamins. I let it dissolve, and it kind of soothes your throat, and it tastes great. And it's, of course, it tastes like orange, and it's buffered, and it's, you know, just a really nice product to use on a daily basis. My husband would prefer a capsule, so I give him a 500 milligram capsule of vitamin C every day with all of his other vitamins.
Now, when fighting an acute illness, can you up the dosage of vitamin C, the milligrams that you might take when you're actually going through a cold?
Yes, you absolutely can. Now, sometimes if you get a little too much orange vitamin C in your system, it will cause you to get diarrhea. But if you get up to that point and then back off a little bit, it's perfectly fine because you can't overdose on it. What your body doesn't need, you will just eliminate into your system.
Okay, that's great to know.
So, you know, these are just a few of the things you can do to remain healthy or get well faster. You know, there's other options that we can talk about, but these are the highlights. And obviously, the sooner you act, the better. And the faster you take action, the less you're going to be affected by whatever is trying to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Well, we went over a lot of great things today. I mean, colloidal silver, olive leaf, oregano, black elderberry, echinacea, vitamin C. That's a whole range that people can find things that might work for them. Like you said, everyone probably has their favorite item. And what's so great is that, Diane, you're in the store quite often, and if people come in and the customers come in with questions, they can always come to you or your staff, correct, about different questions they might have?
Absolutely. We love to have a customer come in, and we will ask them questions and try to guide them to the product that's right for them or for their family. We do not prescribe, obviously, but we can guide you to make the choices that are right for you. It's important to know that we're not doctors, but many times if we ask you the right questions about what's going on, do you have a headache? Is it nasally? What's going on in your stomach? We can say, well, why don't you try this and this? And, and if that doesn't work, please come back because we can, delve into it further. There's many, many ways to get healthier, and, some people are ready to go all in, and some people are just wanting to make tiny little changes, take little steps. We often get people in the store who have heard something on Dr. Oz and they've never been in a health food store before in their lives. So, we kind of take those people under our wing and try to help them without overwhelming them to make some good changes for their health.
And that's such a wonderful service, I think, to have in town, is that sort of personal connection and being able to go into a store where you can talk with somebody. It's very different from ordering something online, or, it's a real wonderful thing to have a local business that you can go into and ask those questions. I think a lot of people today getting sick, they do have a lot of questions, like you said, watching Dr. Oz, and it's wonderful that you're there to answer those things. Now,
right.
Does Au Naturel have any sort of running specials or discounts that you do in the store, days that people would want to make sure to come in if they've never been in your store before?
Absolutely. On the second Tuesday of every month, it's always the second Tuesday, we run 15% off on all vitamins, supplements, and beauty care for that whole day. We are getting busier and busier on Value Tuesday because it's catching on. And also, on a daily basis, we have a customer loyalty program where you get a loyalty card from us, and every $10 you spend, we punch the card. And when that card is filled, it's worth $10 off in our store. We run coupons in several publications and newspapers, and we've got a website. We are on Facebook, and we put videos and informative articles on Facebook all of the time. So, we try to make it so that people can shop with us and not have to spend, their entire paycheck. So.
Well, that's great. I think as, people are realizing that preventative care is such an important piece of wellness, I think people are willing to spend a little bit more and sort of budget for preventative care.
Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say we really look forward to seeing people come in our door. And, we have a good base of regular customers, but it's nice to see new people come in all the time so that we can make new friends. It's like a family thing going on around here. We know the names of the children and we know the names of the customers, and it's if you have a couple of extra minutes, we've got a cup of tea area, and you can actually come in and feel free to make a cup of tea and sit down and read a publication or just visit with us.
Oh, that's fantastic. So for those of listeners who maybe have never been to Au Naturel Market, a great day to come would be a second Tuesday of the month.
That's right.
Where they can get 15% off. And you have, again, coming up in December. What day was your Kiss Me Under the Mistletoe event?
It's December 8th is our Kiss Me Under the Mistletoe event. And we also encourage you to shop small. This Saturday is Small Business Saturday, and we encourage you to shop local. Stay out of those big box stores and go downtown and shop in the smaller stores, shop local, come to Au Naturel Market. We've got stocking stuffers and gift ideas and basket ideas. We can even make a basket for you. I think we all need to think about what actually happens when you shop local, and it's all good. It's all good. It's putting money into your community.
I thank you so much for mentioning that, Diane. I think that's so important. And so much more of the money goes back into your community when you shop local. And Au Naturel Market in Valparaiso is such a great place to do that. Well, this has been really fascinating, Diane. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much for asking me. I have enjoyed it very much.
Oh, wonderful. All right, thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Emily Russell as a guest host for 219 GreenConnect. and we hope to see you all later. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bye-bye, Diane.
Bye-bye.